My friends, you saw it here for the very first time just a little over 1 year ago. And today, you're once again among the very first, seeing it for the very first time. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the world's most powerful CO2-powered defense air pistol in its new second generation version, the 68 caliber IntruBuster Gen 2 by Mercury Rise. Our next target is one that you're starting to be familiar with as we are shooting it more and more. This is basically a 10-pound of a block of clay. It is 4 inches wide, and again, it is pure clay. And I also covered it with a mini, little tiny hoodie, just to give it that clothing feeling and that clothing thickness. And let's see what kind of penetration we get with our new IntruBuster Gen 2. All right, folks, this is extremely frustrating. The camera I had here pointing on that with a slow motion did not record. So I shot it all up, but with no slow-mo recording. That is extremely annoying. But anyway, let's have a look at it and see what kind of damage we made with our 6 shots. Look at that. This is pretty intense, all right, guys. We absolutely obliterated the jacket here. So great penetration into the clay, and look at that. We have one ball that is stuck several inches inside of this. Pretty major denting or penetration. Again, nothing all the way in the 4 inches, nothing crossed the whole 4 inches, but pretty powerful. A big thank you to Mercury Rise for sending over one of the very first models of the new IntruBuster Gen 2. Now you may remember that from the torpedo revolver all the way to the new IntruBuster Gen 1, Mercury Rise has increasingly become a leader in the less lethal world. Yes, there have been some branding battles between some factories and some manufacturers, especially around the IntruBuster / Pistel X68. But here at Airgun Alley, we stay away from any kind of politics, and we only vouch to always bring you the latest and coolest air guns hitting the market. All right, folks, here's another target that you guys are pretty much familiar with. Hopefully I'll film this one right. As always, we have 4 Baltic Birch 1/4 inch plywood boards put in a row. I always use this exact setup to compare all these CO2 powered, less lethal launchers to kind of compare apples with apples and see which board our projectiles will penetrate through till. Throughout the day I've been shooting, and I will be shooting from 20 feet. We'll get to that in a minute. But just for this particular one, I'll be shooting from 30 feet, again, just so we can standardize it with all the other launchers that I've shot previously. By the way, folks, this is happening right next to my house as I'm trying to film this video, so I do apologize for background noises that should not be there. All right, folks, IntruBuster Gen 2 versus Baltic Birch plywood boards, 1/4 inch. Okay, seems like very much kind of in line with all the other launchers of its kind. We went through the first board. Look at those exits, huge holes. I here see 1, 2, 3 balls that stopped at the second board. Great power, because we almost went to penetrate the second board. In fact, we cracked it really good on the other side, so definitely a lot of energy there in that shot. Other pretty big dentings on that second board, and again a little cracking on the other side, so definitely some energy there. But once again, our IntruBuster went through 1 1/4-inch plywood board, damaging a second one. Of course, pepper balls are always one of the best and most effective projectiles in defense, especially if alternated in a magazine with hard-hitting balls, just like this. But let's now unload a full magazine of powder balls on our long-necked Mannequin, and to verify their effectiveness, and again, we'll be shooting it from 20 feet. The IntruBuster Gen 2 is 9 inches in length, or 22 centimeters, and like its predecessor, it shoots 68 caliber round projectiles. It comes with a single magazine that loads 6 shots, and it sports an interchangeable rear and front fiber optic sights, as well as a long top Picatinny rail and a short one on the bottom. Here are some physical differences between the two. Now, in bulkiness, I would say they are pretty much the same size. Maybe the newer version being a bit more bulky, at least here on the top. It doesn't have this kind of slope down here. So definitely a different shape for sure. Now, what is also different at the feel is the IntruBuster Gen 1 or the Pastel X actually has a metal component to it, while the Gen 2 is actually all polymer, entirely plastic. The weight, maybe the Gen 1 is slightly heavier, but actually I think it's because I have ammo in here and this one's empty. So I think they're pretty much the same on weight. But now the cool thing about this rifle, just like the first version, or sorry, about this pistol, just like the first version, is that you can change barrel simply by screwing and unscrewing it. Very, very cool. Now, as you know, there's also a variety of long barrels that have been put out on the market. And as many of you know, this barrel extension will deserve a video on its own, just because the way the longer barrel increases the power and accuracy of this thing is just ridiculous. So again, we will make a video with the extended barrels once they come out. So stay tuned, and we will be doing that very shortly. Talking about accuracy, this is a very short barrel pistol, and on top of that, we are shooting round projectiles. None of these are synonymous with accuracy. Quite the opposite. Is actually quite frustrating in my case. But anyway, let's see how accurate we can be from 20 feet, which is what the FBI considers as an average self-to-home defense distance. I put in here 6 very lightweight nylon plastic balls, and I'm gonna shoot 3 shots to the chest, 3 shots to the head, and hopefully hit somewhat of a bullseye. Well, will you look at that? The last famous words. 1, 2, 3 to the chest. 1, 2, and 3 to the head. We sure got him good. Now, there is one thing I do want to say is that I did attempt shooting this this target with these very lightweight nylon balls, but the gun would not have it. It would just kind of shoot out 2 or 3 at a time. So then I switched to the aluminum balls, heavyweight. They're about 3 times the weight of the plastic ones, of the nylon ones, and this thing shot like this. So bottom line, you do want to use heavy ammo with this. The moment of truth has come, my friends. How powerful is really the new IntruBuster Mark II or Gen 2? Well, we're gonna find out right now as we were gonna put it through the chronograph. As always, we'll be measuring the speed of the 68 caliber projectiles in feet per second. That bottom left, or that number on the bottom left of the chronograph screen indicates the foot-pound energy, but we will also calculate the joules energy. I'm only going to shoot 6 shots because it really will not shoot more than that. Also because I will be shooting the aluminum balls, which, as we know, they're very heavy. They weigh 7.25 grams or 111.8 grain. So again, heavy projectiles, meaning that they will extinguish 1 magazine with 1 CO2 cartridge. So again, we will put 6 shots through the chronograph and see what kind of power we actually get. As always, a huge thank you to the channel's members and supporters for their monthly contribution, which incredibly benefits, helps the channel. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for your kindness, for your support. I really have no other words than thank you. So as always, just allow me to present every single one of you guys by thanking you. And also thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought of the new IntruBuster Gen 2. Much more powerful than the first version. And I just want to know what you guys thought of it. Now, this is most likely, this is just a prototype, as the actual gun will be released to the market in a few weeks, if not even a few months. So there may be some upgrades made. We will come back to you to let you know. But for now, guys, I am so happy and proud to introduce you to the new IntruBuster Gen 2. Again, let me know what you thought of it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do click that like button if you did indeed like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one.